everybody, I'm Hayley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And this week we're reviewing Donnie Darko.
This week we're getting into one of Hayley's favorite movies.
I feel like I'm going to get tore up. Since we've been completely demolishing every movie we've been watching.
Except for Meteor Man.
We decided that maybe we should be a little bit positive.
For once.
For once in our lives. So we're going to pick some movies that we actually like that aren't new, obviously, because we've been having issues with the new ones. So we had to go back to the old OGs. At least I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
We'll see what my favorite movie is. I don't really know.
Yeah, I had to really pull. Anytime somebody asks me my favorite anything, I blank.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song? I'm like, I don't know.
Do I even listen to music?
No, literally. I'm like, when's the last time I did that?
Right. I don't know.
5 minutes ago. So this is the one movie that I liked. And I guess my criteria for liking a movie is I was intrigued. I wasn't bored. It was entertaining. I guess those are all.
Those are like all the same thing.
They're all in the same realm. Acting has to be good. Storyline plot is interesting. It's moving along. And
unlike this list, it's like the same thing every time.
Anyway, that's my criteria. So even if a movie isn't like Oscar worthy, I think a good movie is just, it makes sense. Acting's good. It keeps me entertained. It doesn't require that much, but apparently it does.
Would you ever say would you say
I don't know what I would say, Kaylee.
Would you say like a requirement for a good movie or favorite movie would be like, would you recommend it?
Yes.
So you don't think you could have a favorite movie
and
that you wouldn't recommend?
No, unless my friend hated that genre, but
true.
I usually recommend. Or if it's really good or really bad. Like if it's bad, I'm like, you have to watch this movie.
Yeah, like Malignant.
I like that movie.
Anyways.
They got me. They got me so good. It was scary. I was like, what is that? We brought it back. Anyway, we're moving on. So I chose Donnie Darko. It was created or released in 2001 and stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it does.
And I guess others, since I was just going to say that because since it's not a premiere or anything, I'm being lazy. Yeah. But I guess I can say some of the people. Drew Barrymore, Patrick Swayze, Maggie Gyllenhaal, who's Jake Gyllenhaal's sister.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know.
In real life and in the movie. Wow.
Jenna Malone, Mary
Who's
McDonald. Her name's on the list.
Okay.
Hold on. Don't we do our homework? That's his girlfriend. I knew that was the girlfriend.
She's from Sucker Punch. That's how I know her. Wait, was that it?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, do you want me to read the synopsis?
Go ahead, yeah. Tell us what it's about. That's how I was like, it was really just more casual for me since it's not a premiere. So
true.
I feel like it's been out since 2001. You don't know what's going on. I'm lazy, okay? We're not doing all this work. Look it up.
Okay, so the synopsis I have is Donnie Darko is a twisty, mind-bending dark comedy about a boy who saved the world. Our hero and resident emo boy, Donnie Darko, is going through it. Not only did he recently escape being crushed to death by a jet engine, but he also made a new imaginary friend. This new friend, Frank, just happens to wear a creepy-ass bunny costume and tells him the world will end in 28 days. During this grace period, Donnie is losing his grip with reality as Frank leads him through a path that exposes Donnie to the truth. No longer burdened by the lies, Donnie understands the true meaning of life, death, and time. That's it.
Chills. I will say, though, before Kaylee speaks, this movie has high accolades.
It does.
IMDb gives this movie an 8 out of 10. And if you follow us like you should be, you know that the average, not even average, what the mode, most of these are 6.5.
The median?
Don't get with me about average. Average is not a good, accurate number.
Right.
That is a discussion for another day. Most of the movies are around 6.5.
Right.
This, I don't think we've seen a movie yet.
Out of this, well, I think we've seen one out of the 6s.
But we didn't know. What?
But it was like lower. It was like a 5.
Yes. But what was there one that's been higher?
I can't remember.
Was it a movie we didn't like?
I don't remember. That is really high, though.
Yeah. For IMDb.
Yeah.
And Tomato.
The rotten ones.
The critics gave it an 86%.
Wow.
And the audience gave it an 80.
So we're actually on par with the critics for once.
For once. So it's definitely one of those cult classics, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's definitely giving me, you mentioned the Heathers earlier. I don't know why I'm like throwing this in with like that realm. It's like dark, kind of creepy comedies in there. I don't know what you want to call that type of movie, because like the Heathers, this one reminds me of that. There've been a few other ones.
Yeah.
There's one about witches.
The Craft.
Is it The Craft? It's kind of that vibe too. Yeah, just like that.
It's like high school, but dark high school.
Like Pretty Little Liars, but the 90s.
Yeah, and better.
We're not talking about PLL. We're not going there today. Got a secret. Can you get I thought the intro was so edgy. I said not the nail polish on the dead body.
That's what I was thinking too.
She's edgy.
Wow, beautiful. We love it.
Anyway, so sorry. So I guess let's get into it. So since this is, like we said earlier, be a little bit more casual. So you know what, Hayley, you were the one who watched it. I wouldn't say she watched it for the first time.
I did not.
But I made her watch it again, since I guess she didn't remember or like it the first time.
Right.
Do you want to correct me?
I guess
I'll
explain what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Explain yourself.
Yes.
Explain yourself.
I'll try. So I have seen Donnie Darko before. I think the reason why I didn't initially like this movie is because of the way that somebody described it. I don't know if I would necessarily call this, I guess it's like eerie, but not like somebody called like a thriller and like supernatural thriller, blah, blah, blah. And like, it kind of is those things. But whenever I think of like a supernatural thriller, I think more like spooky. And I didn't really get spooky from it.
It was a little scary.
Yeah, I guess with like the bunny guy is very creepy, but like when I think of spooky, scary skeletons, I think of like The Conjuring or like something like that. And that's not the vibe I got from this, which is fine. I think this is more of like a dark comedy with like some like supernatural elements and time travel and shit like that, which I think is a better description. And I think if you know that it's more of like a dark comedy, I think you appreciate it more, because there is a lot of like dry humor in this movie.
Especially the dad.
Yeah. The dad, Donnie himself.
Yeah.
His little smile. I did not like that. I did.
When he was sleeping, every time he woke up, he was...
Yeah. Ew. I did not like Jake Gyllenhaal's whole vibe in this movie.
He was just a troubled kid. How dare you?
He's gross. Anyways. But I will say, so the first time I think I had like a different idea of what this movie was going to be like whenever I initially watched it like years ago. So I didn't like it, especially with the ending and everything. It was very open about like what it all meant. But this time around, I kind of knew what to expect. I only remembered like the dead bunny guy. I remembered a plane, like a jet coming out of the sky and killing him. Those are the only things I remembered. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with this movie. It didn't feel long, even though it was 2 hours long. But I did enjoy it a lot more. I liked the comedy a lot more this time around. And
when did you watch it the first time?
When it was like
ballpark,
maybe like early high school.
So a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Before you could appreciate the finer things in life.
Right.
Continue.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think this time around I was able to appreciate a little bit more and like, I guess not tolerate it, but I guess appreciate is the best word for it. I was able to appreciate it a little bit more and like actually get into the story and try to figure out what was going on, especially because it's my second viewing. I think you already kind of know what's going to happen. And so trying to like pick up on the clues, that was easier this time around. It kind of gave me vibes of when I watched Fight Club. I watched it a long time ago and then my boyfriend's never seen it. So I was like, hey, we should watch it. And I hated it the second time around. But I saw a lot of clues of like, you know, he's not there, but you know, if you've
never seen Fight Club.
Oh, I ruined it. Sorry.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Oh, please. That's so old. I've seen spoilers, but I was like, I'm intrigued, but I need to see that one.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was like, it's good. I think I saw a review that was like, the first time I saw this, masterpiece. The second time I saw this, trash. And like, that's
how you felt?
Yeah. Because the first time I thought it was good. The second time I was like, this shit is so fucking boring. Brad Pitt, shut the fuck up. Anyways, I gotta stop the thing. But yes, that is how I felt about Donnie Darko from my first time to my second time. Tristan did like this movie a lot as well, which I was surprised about.
Wait, so you did like it?
Yeah, this time.
Okay, because I was getting the impression you didn't like it.
We'll talk about.
We'll get into
the reasons why.
Okay,
but what? Wow. What? So tell me like your like history with this movie. When were you first introduced to like Donnie Darko?
When did I first watch this? It was probably back in college. It's just one of those, I think I really like 90s, early 2000s movies. They're just superior for some reason. Romantic comedies, the other like thrillers. I don't know. I just like them. There's a certain era about that. Because I just watched I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh.
It's a classic.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Classic. Watched it last night. Anyway. But anyway, so I ended up watching it, and I was very confused. I will say, the one drawback to this movie is that it doesn't give you all the tools to put it together necessarily.
Right.
Once you figure out what's happening, or once you research and you're like, oh, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I made my parents watch it, and they liked it, but we all agreed that, and I don't know why they necessarily did this, because I'm sure once you actually looked up like the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So in the movie, there's a reference to this book. What's it called again?
The Principles of Time Travel.
Yes.
Something like that.
We did our research. Okay, anyway. So there's a book in the movie that has to do with time travel, and they don't really go into the book. They do a little bit, but it's there, but it's not there. So anyway.
Yeah.
But if you do your research, you find out really what this book, and I mean, when you do research, I mean, you go on the internet.
Oh, it's the Philosophy of Time Travel.
Philosophy of Time Travel. Is it a theoretical? Is it an actual book?
It's not a real book, but they did make it a book.
They made it a book kind of for the movie, right?
Yes.
But it's not a real book.
Right.
So you have to read the book or read an article about the book.
Which is what big brains do.
Which explains the movie. So I'm like, is that super genius to put that all together? Probably not, because people don't really read that. But they worked really hard. But to me, once I figured out what they were getting at with the theory of time travel and kind of like the science behind everything, then I was like, oh, and it made me enjoy it that much more. But I do agree that maybe it could have been explained in the movie.
Yeah, that's why I have like mixed feelings about it, is because like I like movies that make me think, but I don't like movies that make me feel stupid. And those are two different feelings. And I feel like this one got like a little bit too like, oh, big brain energy. And like I like the research aspect of like, oh, if you want to like figure out more about this movie, like you can dig into it. And that's really cool. But I also just don't like, I think if they had maybe incorporated maybe like a passage or two from the book that like would help kind of explain a little bit about what was going on, I think that would have made it better. Especially a better experience for a viewer, especially a first time viewer. So it just kind of sucked like not having all of the pieces, but kind of trying to get like the bigger picture of it. So that's my biggest issue.
That was probably the biggest issue, really like my only type issue, because I thought the acting was really well. The story was intriguing, at least to me, because there's a lot going on. Yeah. And not in a bad way, but it's just like, on one hand, the bunny's kind of haunting him, but you also know he's in therapy, or he's obviously a troubled kid. So you don't know if it's just kind of, within his mind, or if it's some kind of like expression of his own mind back at him. But then you realize later it's not. Literally none of this is his mind. Yeah. It's just the universe. Who's trying to warn him? I don't even know who's trying to warn him.
Frank
was trying to warn him, but like, if I was Frank, got later days. But I guess the universe was going to be destroyed.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, what's the difference between you dying and the universe dying? Like, do you really know?
No. Exactly. Because if we cease to exist, our universe or our world was only, their universe was going to be destroyed.
Yes.
Because the artifact, aka the
jet
engine of the plane, it like jumped back in time, and then there was going to be two of those, and that was going to rip time as you know it in your universe. But I'm like, okay, but if there's other universes within this theory, then we're all going to die anyway.
What's the difference?
Like, that's a big question too. What is the obsession with the preservation of life as we know it?
Because if I was Donnie, I'd be like, let's just all go.
Listen, it was a matter of time before pollution got us.
True.
Or whatever else.
Right.
But
Aliens, I guess war, who knows?
Literally. So I guess, but I feel like he didn't really know what he was doing to the end. But what I do like is at the beginning of the film, if you notice, he talks, or he kind of has a fear of death. I don't know if you remember this, but in the film, in the beginning, he talks a lot about like, he has kind of like almost existential crisis almost.
Oh,
like if
he doesn't want to be alone.
He doesn't want to be,
he doesn't want to die alone.
He doesn't want to die alone. He kind of has a fear of death. But by the end of it, so I almost think it's not even really him saving the world. It was almost like him coming to a certain enlightenment. Because if you realize at the end, he allowed himself to die. Yeah. Because he didn't have to go back to the bedroom. He was almost like content, because at the end you're like, what was the music going on, and all that other stuff, and he was like content with his life at that point, because in the beginning he was scared, but throughout the process he saw the bigger picture, and he wasn't scared of dying anymore, or dying alone, and he did. And of course everybody's sad and horrified, but he was actually content, and little did they all know what he all had done this whole time.
Because I think that's something that if you didn't read the the book, then you wouldn't know if this was all in his head or if it was reality. But with the book, it seems to be like this was an alternate universe, that everything did happen.
Yes.
And so, but because of what happened in this alternate universe, it was able to warn him of what would happen if he wouldn't like make things right. Like the world would cease to exist. Because like, I don't know, whenever Frank is like the world will end in 28 days, I kind of assume I'm in like, maybe it was just his world. Maybe it was just Donnie's world.
He's going through it.
Yeah. And I don't know, it also seemed like very like dreamlike and hazy, like the way that the camera was like recording things. Like there's multiple scenes. I was like, damn, it's kind of dark. Like somebody forgot to clean
Literally
the fucking camera off. I'm like, what's happening? And like the way that like everybody seemed to be obsessed with Donnie was also very interesting. Like, you know, whenever his girlfriend comes to school for the first time, the Drew Barrymore is like, sit by the boy who you think is the cutest. And of course it's Donnie's old like crumpled looking ass. I'm like, girl, you need to pick a girl. Like, don't sit by none of these men. He turned around like, I was like, Jake Gyllenhaal, fix your face.
Let her go where she wants, where she's drawn.
True. And she was like, you're weird. But that was a compliment. I don't know. I don't know. It's just everybody was very obsessed with Donnie, even when he wasn't in the scene, and so it felt all very like dreamlike. So that was like another reason why you could think it was maybe on his mind.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I feel like they do play on with that the whole time, because the whole time I'm thinking it's in his mind, or maybe something. I just thought it was more spiritual, but it ends up being pretty like physics. I want to say physical, but physical.
Let's get physical.
Let's not. Oh, that was embarrassing for you.
I thought you were gonna join.
No.
Peer pressure didn't work this time.
No. But anyway, so I like that. Well, because you think it's a dream, but then at the end you realize it's kind of like alternate realities kind of crossing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, that could be dreamlike.
That's true.
You're like, yeah, like you think it's more spiritual, but it's more, unless you want to consider that spiritual in a way, but it's like it's all scientific. Like once you read the book, it's all based in physics. Like none of this is actually supposed to technically be supernatural. It's supposed to be some people from another alternate universe warning him, even though Frank was like dead at that point, but not, because he was like stuck in some kind of
limbo, I guess,
or whatever, trying to warn him. So I'm like, at the end it was interesting, because I'm like, that really wasn't spiritual or ghosts or anything.
No,
it was all science, if you will. Theory.
Yeah. And like you could, because I know there's like a lot of theories about like alternate time, like that people talk about on TikTok all the time. And so it was interesting when we saw Frank at the end, where he had his bunny mask and he touched his eye, even though he had never been shot in the face, which is where he was shot by Donnie. And so it's kind of like the two realities kind of met at that point, and maybe that could be like a spiritual kind of thing. Like maybe you're feeling like a past life, like, oh God, I got shot in the face kind of energy. Or,
people get birthmarks or like different things that are supposed to be like telling you about how you died in a past life or something like that. Exactly.
So it kind of felt like that. And also like the mom of one of the girls who's on the dance team, Mrs. Farmer, the one who's like very like extra.
Yeah, they're super religious. Or not.
She was. At the end, we see her like looking like that, but we don't see what she's looking at or what's going on or why she's even doing that. We even see like Patrick Swayze like crying, but like nothing has happened to him yet. So it's like very confusing as to like maybe they are like kind of feeling this alternate universe. What happened? These are like, would this be like deja vu, like memories from like your other universe self?
Yeah, or I kind of got it as, because technically the other universe or the other their first universe ended, right? Like that one ceased to exist, but this one continued on. So to me, it was almost like they were all the universes, however many there are. They're kind of connected. So when that one ended, it kind of still was, at least it was linked to this one, because they're linked from the object or the artifact is what they call it in the book. They're linked from the artifact. So my thing was, I think at the end, even though it was destroyed, it didn't completely go away, since they kind of not merged, but they're like, So I feel like they still all had the character development from the movie. They just didn't know why they did. You know what I mean? Like it didn't all go to waste. It wasn't like they completely died. But like Patrick Swayze was crying because I think obviously he got found out about his problems. And all that other stuff. And then I forgot what the religious lady went through.
Nothing really.
But it was like she had some kind of reasoning,
like,
or was she watching the news? Or I don't know.
She she was obsessed with Patrick Swayze's character, and she was like, I can't go to the dance recital for the girls because I have to be at his acquittal. Like, I'm gonna like stand up for him. So like maybe that's what
I think she realized she was wrong. Yeah, maybe not seeing it, but she had a moment of clarity of like, wait, because I get her other self found out the truth, and everybody did. So I think it was almost kind of like this unsettling, maybe I don't want to say deja vu, because it's not like I've been here before. Yeah, because they were all kind of in random spots. But I see what you mean is some kind of like,
what do you even like phantom memories of like things that didn't really happen, but they did really happen,
but like in another universe.
I wonder if his girlfriend's like family life is really like that, or did he make that up too? I don't know. With her mom being stabbed by her dad, and like that's why like they were running away and they changed their names. His girlfriend Gretchen, and I was like, that's so weird. That's such a weird story to have. But at the end,
they just think she's troubled. So you're trying to say that it was not her story?
I don't know. I feel like some of this stuff, like he might have superimposed into this universe, or like maybe Frank, in order to make him want to save the world, maybe he made things happen the way that they did. That would be an interesting theory. But I know like the whole like real theory is like this is like straight up a parallel universe of what's really going on in the real universe and a parallel universe. But it would be interesting if like in order to have Donnie save the world, they had to make different things happen, like different conversations happen or different like backstories happen
to force him or force certain actions on his behalf.
Because I think that's another thing that they were talking about is like determinism, where like, you know, free will versus determinism. Like, do we really have a say at what happens in our lives? So like if Frank or God or the universe was the one pulling Donnie along, they would have to make it appealing for him to want to save, because he was afraid of dying alone. That's true. Yeah, he was afraid of dying alone. He was afraid of doing all this kind of stuff. So they had to make it okay for him to go on in order to save the world. I don't know. But I thought it was very weird that everybody was obsessed with him. That's why I'm trying to understand, like, were they obsessed with him before in the real universe too, or
was it almost a not drownness, but since he is kind of the center of this universe completely, because he's saving it, is there some kind of a natural draw to that? Because he was kind of the chosen one for whatever reason. Do we ever know why he was chosen necessarily, or he just happened to be that guy?
And so that also could be like, what if the people who are experiencing mental breaks are actually like in real reality?
And like, we are delusioned.
Yeah. Because he's like, you know, the therapist was like, what if, or they think that he might be schizophrenic because of his imaginary friend and him thinking that the world's going to end and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, it's kind of an interesting subject, but he's like actually in real reality. He knows what's really going on.
Yeah. He's the one that's actually, he's like, no, it's not imaginary friend. He's real. He's just from another universe.
Frank. Right. He's dead.
Frank. He's here, but he's not here yet.
Yeah.
He's not here like that.
Right. Exactly. It's all very confusing, but I feel like out of time travel movies, this might have been like maybe the easier one to kind of follow.
Yes. What I did like about it is it wasn't, I don't know if you've ever seen, what was it called?
Are you talking about Tenet?
Tenet. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Okay. Everyone loved that movie, so apparently I'm wrong. I think it was one of those movies that was trying to be too smart. So sometimes when they deal with time travel or concepts, sometimes I think they do too much.
Yeah.
Where it's so hard to follow. I know we said this one was hardest to follow, but not once you figured out like, oh, that's what's going on.
Yeah, once you like read the other book or read articles about it, then you can understand what's really going on. It's not that hard, but they make an extra step in there.
They do. But other than that, but when I was watching Tenet, like somebody tried to explain to me over and over and over again what was going on, because it's not time travel, by the way. It's the molecules are going backwards.
Okay,
and somehow you're back in time. I don't know, but I'm sure it all makes sense. I'm not a physicist, and I
right. We didn't go to college for that.
Barely went to college at all. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like that. Like I think what's the other movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, Inception.
It's not time travel necessarily, but in the same realm of like a dream within a dream.
Yeah. What's reality and what's not.
That one. Yeah. That one was done well. Tenet to me was not done well. Or movies that are trying to be too smart with itself. So I see what you mean by. It made sense. It was easy, easy to follow once you're like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. And I just felt like it wasn't trying to be too smart. Yeah. Because some movies do that, and they're trying to question my intelligence, undermining my intelligence.
You don't want to feel dumb after watching a movie.
No.
You want to feel big brained.
Big brain. Like I was like, damn, I got that. Which is why maybe I like this movie, because I'm a simple girl. Maybe I'm just dumb. It was like, I got Tenet. And I'm like,
Oh,
did you?
how awkward.
Somebody explain it to me. I've literally read so many articles about it and I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah, never seen it. Every time you bring it up, it makes me not want to watch it even
Well, I
more.
want someone else to watch it that I feel like is on the same level as me, you know, intelligence.
She also thinks I'm dumb. Yep.
It's like, you might also be dumb. Yeah. So if you don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's
I guess
going
we're just
on,
stupid. Whoop.
maybe it's just us. But no, I did like that. I just liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was entertaining. It, like, you didn't really know what was going on. But I like the characters, like the character development. I was like, it was just an interesting movie. So I will say, when I first watched it, obviously I was like
Confused.
kind of confused.
Yeah.
But when I watched it the second time, knowing that everything I knew, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And at the end, I feel like I was enjoying the ending more because the ending seems pretty powerful because of playing the music, everybody was seeing everybody's faces.
Yeah.
From what was a serious or a kind of a funny dark movie, kind of turned very serious at the end.
Because his girlfriend got ran over by a reindeer.
Yeah. Didn't she live at the very end though?
I mean, yeah.
Because
in his other universe,
yeah, the first universe she dies, but then she lives, and she was looking at his mom. She was looking at her, and she was like, she's like, sorry about your son.
She said, "Hello, good morning. How are you?"
Bye. You have a connection? Do I know you? But yeah, so that's why I like the film.
Yeah, I can understand the
appeal.
I was gonna say that, but I don't think I really do. I don't know. I feel like this.
Do you or you do not like this movie?
I do like this movie, but I feel like it has a just a little touch of like being pretentious. Like I feel like it's doing a lie where it's like, oh, we made a whole other book for this movie, and if you read it,
that
then
I
you'll
will
get
say
it.
was a little.
It's
extra.
a bit much.
And
yeah.
where can you get the book? Could you get the book then?
I don't know.
Came out in
Apparently, it
2001?
was like on a website that was for the movie, so I don't think it was like ever in print.
So what would be
but it's
the
online.
reason that they would make an extra book? If it's not to be extra pretentious, is there a reason? Like, was there a hint in the movie that is trying to tell you, like, you know what I mean? Is it like another clue to just engage the audience, or is it really like, haha, I gotta read? And I'm like, ugh, gross.
I think it's kind of like because like the Blair Witch Project also came out around this time, and they're also using technology in a way for them to like make it seem like this whole thing was real. So I feel like maybe that was during a time because it came out around the same time. So I think maybe that's what they're trying to do is like engage other media for their movie.
True.
So I guess that's what they're kind of trying to do is experiment with what that could be like.
Yeah, or make you another character within, you know what I mean? Like including you in the adventure. Like now in your universe, you can find the book. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, I don't know if I'm, because that's not the feel that I got from the movie.
Yeah, it's a borderline of like, this is really cool and like engaging, and it makes you want to be in the universe of the movie, but it's also like, there's a book. Like,
yeah, thank God for the articles, because I would have had, there's like 12 chapters or some whatever.
Ain't doing that.
Fascinating from the summary I read, but yeah, I'm like, maybe it's just another way to include the character kind of like in the whole universe theory of like, you're watching a movie in your universe, but you can find the book in yours and go see. But see, who's the first one to look it up? Because I'm not gonna lie, if I came out of the theater, I'd be like, well, I guess I'll never know. But I'm like, is that why? Is there a hint? Because there's an old lady, and her husband who passed wrote the book, and they somehow got access to the book, right? So how were we supposed to know? Or maybe it was a press release thing. Back in the day.
Maybe there's like something
they mentioned it.
Yeah,
because I don't know how else people would know to look that up.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Unless you're just curious and think it's a real book, and then you.
That's
find
true.
It. So did you find? So you just looked up what the hell was this movie, and then you found the book.
Right.
That's what I did. I said, what was the meaning of Donnie Darko? And then it brought the book. So that's how I found it. But I didn't know if you already knew about it and you just went to go look.
No, I had to look it up.
Oh, the first time you watched it, did you look it up? Or you were just like,
I did look it up. I remember looking it up, but I don't remember like knowing that there was a book.
Okay. And
so I don't think I looked very deeply. I think I was just
behind the physics of the science of the stuff.
But this time I skimmed the article this time, and I was like catching more onto it. But I think if I would have looked it up more whenever I originally watched it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But yeah, I think marketing or the way people talk about this movie or like recommend this movie is very important. Because there's another movie called like what is it called? They came from I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. But
I want to know what it is.
I forgot what it was called. But it looked like the trailer was so creepy and ominous, and we didn't know what the fuck was going on. And the movie itself, ass. Boring as fuck.
Was it recent?
Was so bad. Well, like 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
It's like it comes at night. I think that's what it is. It comes at night. I think that's what that was. It was awful. I hated it. And like a lot of people were like, yeah, the marketing for this movie, terrible. And that's why people had like the wrong expectation for going in. Expectations are so important. So thinking that this was supposed to be like, it is mind bending, but like thinking it's going to be like some kind of creepy, otherworldly, blah, 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 blah. I think thinking that is not going to help you. But if you think this is more of like a dark comedy that explores like time travel and horror elements and all that kind of stuff, I think you will enjoy it a little bit more.
And what is life?
Nothing. It's meaningless, pointless.
Ask Donnie. Well, you can't.
He's dead.
He's dead. Unless he talked to the universe. I'm pretty sure. What was that storm at the end? He was like, well, I guess that was because the thing was happening.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, he's talking to somebody.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm not afraid. And he's talking about something about like, that's so ugly.
I'm not afraid.
Something about like, I don't know. I can't tell the words. Sorry. I'm very tired.
But yes.
I guess we could do our ratings.
Yeah, I guess so.
So what's your rating, Hayley?
Out of 5? I give this a 4 out of 5.
Very nice. Solid.
Maybe in a 4.5. I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'll give it a complete 5, just because I feel like the movie didn't necessarily give you all the tools you needed. So I'm gonna say maybe 4.5 out of 5. I really like this movie. Like I said earlier, like the acting, like the humor, storyline was interesting to me. It was just it's just very interesting. It had a little bit of everything in this movie.
It did. It really did.
And I just enjoyed it. But I kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a mystery, but it kind of is a mystery. You know what's going on. Yeah. So I kind of enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it. What about you?
I'm going to give it a 3. I know. I did like it better the second time around.
Are you averaging out the scores?
No, I'm not. It's just I don't know. I can't fall in love with this movie. I think it's mostly because of Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't like his face. He's so ugly in this movie.
He's not ugly.
He's so ugly.
He's not.
In this movie,
he's not.
He looks like a crumpled up napkin.
What do you think he's supposed to look like? He's having problems, Kaylee.
I know he is, but he
not him supposed to look like Fabio, and he's going through some.
That's true.
Saving the universe is hard.
I'm not gonna fall in love with somebody who looks like that.
Sorry. Are you supposed to? Are you supposed to be falling in love with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I don't know. I feel like everybody had a crush on him in this movie.
Oh.
In the reviews, they were like, "Oh my god, Jake Gyllenhaal."
It's that angsty vibe,
and I just can't. Like, you need to work on your mental health. That's when I can fall in love.
But it wasn't
with
that
you.
This whole time. That's the kicker.
Anyways, back to my overall thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think. I don't know. I don't really have any strong feelings. It was a little annoying trying to like figure out what was going on. But like, I mean, it was a good time, but I don't have any strong feelings. So a 3.
Okay. It could have been worse.
It could have been worse. It could have been better, but it could have definitely been worse. But speaking of things that could have been worse, you can follow us on Instagram. At Hayley and Kaylee. We also have a website at Press Podcast where you can look at our blogs and our podcasts. And we also have a TikTok at Press Podcast as well. What else do we have?
We also have a YouTube channel. If you're watching us, you absolutely know that. If not, you can find us at Hayley and Kaylee. You can also find our, you said Instagram already? If you have any movies, comments, questions, or other concerns that you don't put in the YouTube comments, you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on this movie, your other favorite movies, or anything you think that we should review.
Yes, and you can find our podcast on Spotify and on Apple. Let us know if you like this. We're trying.
They don't like this.
They don't like it anymore.
They don't like that at all.
Well, because we were trying to figure out what movies to watch, and we saw Morpheus is coming out, but I refuse to support Jared Leto as an actor. Sorry, he's trash. So okay, I have strong opinions. So we're trying something a little bit different, exploring our like favorites, and also like bringing positive vibes, like we said earlier. So let us know if you enjoyed this. Next time we'll be talking about my favorite movie, which is I don't know.
It's hard. I had to pull
What's yours?
Yeah, what's your favorite movie? You tell us.
Exactly.
They're not going to.
No comments.
Just Kara floating around every now and then. Thanks, girl.
Thanks for the opinion, Kara. We love it. Just look like a big old Q-tip. Anyways. Thanks for saying no, Kaylee. You don't look like a Q-tip.
No, you don't, because a Q-tip is like this.
A used Q-tip? There we go. And it explains the brown.
Oof. Like a bobby pin.